All right. So we're looking at what's called the equation of a line on the Cartesian plane. So here's our Cartesian plane. Here's a line through space, and we can describe the equation of it with the y-intercept. Okay, that's where it crosses the y-axis, and with its slope. If you have those two things, you have the equation of a line. Now we have two ways of describing it, and both are very important for us. We have what's called y-intercept form, okay, which is where we have y equals mx plus c. It's very useful because you can see the slope very clearly, and you can see the y-intercept very clearly. It's useful in that regard. We have general form, okay? General form is particularly useful when we want to graph because it's very easy. The way to tell the difference between the two, Harry, here we've got a and b on the same side of the equation. Okay, well here we have x and y on the same side of the equation. Over here we have y by itself. Y equals, here, x plus y, x take y, whatever it is, whatever combination, x and y are on the same side. That's the difference between them. So our very first thing is to go through and state whether it's y-intercept or general. So I might start here. So Harry, does this one look like y-intercept or general?
Looks like general.
General. So general's got x and y on the same side of the equation. Here we've got y by itself. Yep, so y-intercept. What about this one? X and y on the same.
So it's general.
Very good. Okay, this one's general. All right. Charles, do you want to have a go at C?
General.
Very good. And last one, Mason.
No, y-intercept.
Very good. Y-intercept form. Okay, so we can just understand it in that regard. Is y by itself or is x and y together? So that's the first thing, identifying which form is presented. Next it says convert it to the opposite form. So that means if it's in y-intercept form, we want to express it in general form. So we want the x and y on one side and then the number on the other. This is going to be a good skill because it's going to allow us to practice the algebra, right? So here, what I'm going to do is I want to get the x and y together, okay? Now generally we say we want the value of x to be positive, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be that fussy about it. What we're going to do is we're going to move the y over to this side and we're going to move the 5 over to this side. So here's my equation at the moment. I have y equals 3x take away 5. And I'll use some more multicolours again. Colours good. I'm going to subtract y from both sides. Take y, maintaining balance. We can do anything as long as we do it to both sides. And I'm going to plus 5 to both sides. Plus 5. And so let's process this step and see what we end up with. Here, y take y cancels. Alright, so I've got 5 here. And then over this side, I'm going to have 3x take y. Because minus 5 plus 5 cancels. Alright. Now it's in general form. We can express it like that. We can swap the order around. 3x take y equals 5. Okay? Because they're equal, it doesn't matter which order you write them in. But now we have expressed it in general form. Because x and y are on the same side. Okay. Any issues with the first one? Alright, let's look at the second one. We have 2x plus 3y equals 12. We've established its general form. We're going to convert it to y-intercept form. For it to be in y-intercept form, that means we need y all by itself. We want to break down this equation to get y all by itself. So I'm going to write the equation and then we can start to manipulate it. 2x plus 3y equals 12. We want y by itself. So straight away, let's take away 2x from both sides. Okay? If we take away 2x, here this is going to cancel. 2x take 2x, that part's cancelled. And we've almost got y by itself. The next thing to do, we've got 3 times y. We're going to divide both sides by 3. Divide by 3, divide by 3. And so here, we're going to get y equals 12 take 2x on 3. And that denominator applies to both terms. We can split that denominator, right? So that is 12 on 3 take 2x on 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Alright, and we'll leave it like that. Okay, y-intercept form. Alright, so we moved from general to y-intercept form. Okay. Our next one's in general form as well. So for us to go to y-intercept form, we need to get y by itself. We're looking to isolate this component. So I'll write it out and we'll get into it. X plus 4y is 5. Our first thing is to take away x from both sides. Alright, if we take x and take x, that'll cancel. And we'll have 4y equals 5. Take x. Next, divide by 4. So that'll cancel. 4 at the top and bottom cancels. Y equals 5, take x on top of 4, we'll split it. And there's one more thing we'll do. If I have x on 4, it means the same as 1/4 of x. X divided by 4 is the same as 1/4 of x. Alright, so we've rearranged it. If there's anything you can't read up here, please let me know. Okay, so all we're doing in this step is the rearranging. It's a good opportunity for us to practice our algebra. Okay, the last one is in y-intercept form, isn't it? We have y equals 3, take x on 2. So for us to get it into general form, we need to put the x and the y together. Lots of ways it can be done, but if we want to get x and y together, here we've got minus x on 2. Let's just go plus x on 2 to both sides. Okay, that's what we're going to start with. We're adding half x to both sides. So what does that look like? We'll have x on 2 plus y equals 3. And I'm going to say it's fine to represent it like that. Alright? Another way it could be represented is if we double both sides, right? Multiply both sides by 2, you can do anything as long as you do it to both sides, right? Here, 2 times a half, that's going to become x. 2 times y will be 2y equals 6. So both of those are suitable ways of representing it. I'm going to write the first way we had it underneath. X plus y equals 3 or x plus 2y equals 6. They both describe the same equation of the line, different ways of presenting it. Okay, so the algebra can be a little bit tricky. Alright, so that's probably the trickiest skill. So first we identified it, what it was. Second, we did some rearranging. That's the tricky part. We've got one more part, which is a bit easier again. State the y-intercept and the slope of each line. So, if the equation of the line is written like this, m, the slope, watch here, that's the coefficient of x. It's always the number in front of x. So let's look in our first circumstance. We jump to y-intercept form. There it is. What's the slope? The number in front of x. The slope is 3. Alright, so this is the important part that we need to say. Slope is 3. How about the y-intercept? The y-intercept is the number. Okay? We consider whether it's negative or positive, as we do with slope. It's going to be either negative or positive. So for the first line, m is 3, c is minus 5. Alright, for the second line. For the second line, we started in general form and we rearranged it to y-intercept form. Here it is in y-intercept form down here. Okay, who wants to tell me what the slope is? Jolie? 2. Of this one? 2 on, negative 2 on 3? Very good, yep, negative 2 on 3. So we don't just look at the general form part, we have to look at it in y-intercept form, and once it's in y-intercept form, the coefficient of x. Very good. Negative 2 on 3. We consider whether it's negative or positive. How about the y-intercept? Charles? 4. Very good. C is 4 in this circumstance. Okay, on to question C. We started in general form, we rearranged it to y-intercept form, so this is where we're looking. Coefficient of x is a quarter, so in this circumstance n is a quarter,
Negative.
negative quarter, thank you, and the y-intercept is 5 quarters, 5 out of 4, 1.25. Okay, so we deciphered that one there. And then last one. The last one already gives it to us in y-intercept form. Y take x on 2. Now the y-intercept is very clear because that's just a number. The y-intercept is 3. The slope is a little bit trickier. Alright? Does anyone know what it is? If we've got the x on 2, what's the coefficient of x? What?
1.
It's not 1.
Negative 1.
Negative 1/2, very good. I see what you mean, Charles. At the top of the fraction, the coefficient of x is x, yeah. But negative x on 2, okay, is the same as negative half of x. Alright? If we have x divided by 2, negative half of x. So in this circumstance, in our last one, our slope is negative half x. Now I understand there are a few examples we didn't do there, E and F, and we won't worry about them at this stage because they do get a bit more tricky when we have to do the conversion. So that's enough to have a go at E.1. Start off identifying, then start doing some conversions. But the most important skill was the last one. I've been able to identify the slope and the y-intercept. So hopefully we got that down pat. All right. So let's do it. We'll probably do that for the rest of the lesson. Let's do that. E1.